Now at 4, flight reductions now in effect.
We're looking into the real-time impact that's hitting travelers here at Indianapolis International Airport.
And if your flight gets canceled and you're stranded out of town, that could result in extra spending. Ahead, I'll tell you what's to do with how to save money, from negotiation ideas to exploring reimbursement options.
And it's warm right now, but by Sunday you may want to take a flight somewhere warmer. Temperature is going to drop and we could see a chance of snow.
Thanks for joining us at 4 o'clock. I'm Felicia Lawrence.
I'm Ann in for Dustin today at 4. And the big story that we're following today continues to be these flight reductions. They're now in effect at airports all across the country. Indianapolis, no exception.
Travelers are bracing for the headaches that this all could cause. Jenna Webster joins us live from the airport with what we're seeing so far. Jenna?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I've heard today from travelers is that today is going better than they expected. They're just kind of keeping their fingers crossed that it'll continue to be that way. Obviously, good news for a lot of people. I do want to give you a look at the current flight status board we're kind of looking at for departures, because as we've been here, we have seen more delays kind of added to this board. There is a flight that was supposed to go to Boston in an hour and a half on Delta that's been canceled. Another flight to D.C. on American that was scheduled to leave in 12 minutes has been canceled as well. Some of those delays for Chicago, O'Hare, Denver, we know according to FlightAware, those are some of the airports today that are having some more issues than others. But when it comes to Indianapolis, FlightAware says 10 flights leaving Indianapolis today are canceled. 7 coming into Indy have been canceled as well. But there is some good news for travelers. Indianapolis is faring a little bit better than others. According to FlightAware, it's ranked 31st today for cancellations and delays. I should mention that list does include some airports that aren't targeted for these reductions. We do know that this is going to continue to get worse as the days go on. Airlines are starting today with that 4% reduction in flights, and that's going to increase to up to 10% by November 14th. The FAA says this is all for safety, but one woman I talked to actually called today a 10 out of 10 travel experience.
I was going to drive. That was my backup plan. So it's 14 hours, and we were going to drive. Or I was going to convince him we were going to drive. Very relieved and happy to be here, and don't care that much that we might get stuck on Sunday. Care a little bit because we have a dog, but great dog sitter.
Definitely the positive outlook to have when you're traveling. Airlines say the best thing that you can do right now is to have their apps downloaded so that you can check your notifications and get those changes if you need to make them. I actually just checked on My United app. They say they have made all their scheduled changes through Sunday, so they're trying to give passengers some advance notice a couple days in ahead. But it sounds like right now for Indianapolis travelers, they're just keeping their fingers crossed that it's going to continue to be smooth traveling. But we do have quite a few delays going on right now, guys.
All right, Jenna, thanks for that update at this hour at 4. And the airlines are responding by offering these flexible ticket changes and cancellations. But if you're affected, if your flight is canceled, you might still have a hotel cost.
Yeah, Allison Gormley tells us what's the deal with how to try and save money if you're stuck paying for extra nights.
It's important to know your options if you're stranded on a trip. Because a shutdown is beyond the airline's control, a hotel waiver from them is off the table. That leaves you with a few other options. First, grab the credit card you booked with and search its benefits for the terms travel disruption and trip disruption.
Food, transport to and from the airport or to and from the hotel. Things like that can really be bundled underneath these trip or travel disruption coverages that credit cards can offer.
Next, check your travel insurance if you purchased a plan. Depending on the policy, details matter.
The government shutdown is now considered a foreseen event. So for a lot of policies, they're only going to cover you for those unforeseen events.
If reimbursement is off the table, keep costs low by asking the hotel to honor your existing rate for the extra nights. For example, if you paid $250 a night and now the rate is $375, explain your situation, keeping you informed of your options so you can take back control of your trip. Now, if you have a big trip coming up, think a cruise where the boat leaves with or without you. Take advantage of this flexibility and maybe add a day buffer-wise. Just peace of mind and just in case.
Yeah, it's hard though when you've got work and school and commitments too.
Correct. Yeah, so. It depends how much you've spent on the trip. If it's something where you haven't
you don't have the proper flight insurance policy and all of that kind of stuff, then the hotel might not justify then, canceling a whole big old kit and caboodle.
Yeah. All right, Allison, thanks. Everyone's learning to be flexible.
Yeah. All right. And we got to get to some breaking news at 4. In just the last 15 minutes, President Trump's administration announced that it will fully fund SNAP.
This is not a long-term solution. The administration says it's going to fund the SNAP benefits while it appeals the court order to fully fund it by today.
Karen Kafa breaks down new numbers showing the economic impact of this ongoing shutdown.
The economic toll of the record-breaking U.S. government shutdown keeps widening, from SNAP recipients in the middle of a legal back and forth over November benefits.
I've been disabled since birth, so I rely on food stamps and Social Security to survive. I've been struggling. It's been really hard. I've literally been eating spaghetti for 4 days because it's all I have in my apartment.
Two government workers on the job without pay for more than a month, leaning on food banks and food drives.
Some of them, it's brought them to tears with the support that they've seen from the community and the outreach.
And small businesses feeling the squeeze of both higher prices and struggling consumers.
They're buying things that they can throw in their freezer and stretch to the last, towards the end of the month as well, because we don't know what's going to happen.
It all has Americans feeling worse about the overall economy, according to the latest University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey released Friday. The October index fell to its lowest level since June of 2022, when inflation peaked at a 4-decade high. Top White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett told Fox Business Friday the lengthy shutdown's economic impact is far worse than expected.
There are pockets that are really hurting, and if we go another month or so, then who knows how bad the economy could be this quarter.
Friday was supposed to bring the federal government's latest look at the labor market, but October's monthly jobs report, like September's, is on hold because of the shutdown. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
There are growing concerns about how expensive utility bills are now as we head into the colder temperatures and months.
People will need to heat their homes, and some are seeking help to afford it. Brandon Schaff is in studio to explain how that help remains for now during the government shutdown.
Yeah, Felicia and Marie, this is really important, and there are resources for people who need this help with those high utility bills, providing some much needed relief from that financial stress that can come with that. The Energy Assistance Program, known as Indy EAP, provides financial assistance to income-eligible households in Marion County. It helps them maintain utility services during the winter, getting assistance with electric and heating costs. Well, the application period began in October and continues through April next year. And people can fill out an application online and in person at the John Bonner Neighborhood Center on East 10th Street. Well, this program relies on federal grant funding through the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and it's distributed locally through the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority. And despite the ongoing government shutdown, officials say that the program remains funded and ready to help.
The Energy Assistance Program we do consider to be an ongoing program, and so we are taking applications, we're processing applications, and the stance is that it's a going concern at this time.
And eligibility for Indy EAP is income-based and dependent on household size. Well, you must also have a utility burden, and James says that it takes about 55 days for applications to process, and people should stay in touch with those utility companies to arrange payments in the meantime. And coming up at 6, we'll hear more from the community about their need for this crucial resource ahead of those cold winter months.
Yeah, they're here. Brandon, thank you.
There's been so much talk about food stamps. I mean, this is important too.
Absolutely. All the resources that people can get, they need them.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of some of those cooler temperatures, well, you probably didn't need the heat just yet today because it's mild, but we know that's changing.
That's right. It's pretty close to 70 degrees right now as we look live downtown. Rob Ellis is here, and if you've been with us this week, you know Rob has been talking about this roller coaster ride that the weather's going to be taking us on. Warmer than a curve with some rain and then another twist and another turn and then a big drop.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the drop
we got
part
there.
of it. The drop I don't like.
Yeah.
On roller coasters as well as in the forecast. And yeah, it is going to be a substantial drop in the temperatures. 70 now, and we're talking snow just a couple of days from now. So let's get right into it and show you where we are temperature-wise. It's a fairly nice day. It's been a little bit breezy, and that's one of the reasons why we've been able to warm up, along with the sunshine that came behind those clouds this morning. So temperature at 67 right now. We were at 68 a little bit earlier. There was a 70 in Terre Haute. Those temperatures have started to ease their way back down. The clouds are moving out. There are a couple of showers that are popping up closer to Seymour. Most of these are going to move off to the east and maybe impact Cincinnati. Shouldn't cause any problems for us. Our forecast is calling for mostly clear skies through the rest of this evening. Temperatures will drop into the 50s as those winds calm down. I think we'll drop into the 40s and probably end up right around 40 degrees for our overnight low temperature. Tomorrow, another mild day, but this is about to change. We could get close to 60 before we see a chance of snow on Sunday. I'll have details on that coming up.
Thank you. We'll check back, Rob. In the courtroom on this Friday, a Muncie man now pleading guilty to a lesser charge in the death of his little 3-month-old daughter.
Jacob Vera signed a plea deal admitting neglect of a dependent resulting in serious bodily injury rather than resulting in death. That means he could face up to 9 years behind bars.
Vera left his daughter Isabella in a baby swing inside a hotel in Muncie back in 2023, and then she suffocated. A 16-year-old was also found crying uncontrollably there in that room as well. Police believe that Vera abandoned the children and then got a ride to Chicago.
And it looks like NFL analyst Mark Sanchez is out of a job with Fox Sports after he was arrested and charged in a stabbing incident in downtown Indianapolis.
A spokesperson for Fox Sports confirmed the move, but wouldn't detail the reason for making this change in their on-air talent. Sanchez is currently charged with battery and public intoxication after Indianapolis police say that he confronted a worker outside a hotel here last month.
His trial is set for next month, and he's also facing a lawsuit from the alleged victim in the attack.
Drew Brees is going to be filling in on the broadcast now, and if you're a Purdue fan, you are probably a big fan of Drew Brees too. All right, a probe into illegal gambling schemes in the NBA has now spread to college basketball.
The NCAA just revoked eligibility for 6 men's college basketball players over sports betting. So the organization says it uncovered 3 cases at New Orleans, Mississippi Valley, and Arizona State.
According to the NCAA, the players manipulated their performances to lose the games or not cover betting lines to make sure that prop bets hit. This comes in wake of the NCAA weighing whether to allow student athletes and staff to bet on pro sports.
It was originally approved by all 3 divisions and was set to take effect at the start of the month, but a vote delayed that start to November 22nd.
Still ahead, we do have some bad news today for DeForest Buckner. How many games he's now expected to miss because of a neck injury.
Plus, more than 17,000 people coming to Indy for the monumental marathon this weekend. We're going to help you navigate the road closures around town next.